It's Birdman for Birdman on the Mountain. We're hanging out here. It's another episode where we get to talk about somebody in the community. Today, I'm at Stonewall Strategies here up in Pinetop Lakeside, and I've got with me Mr. Paul Berry. How are you?
I'm fine. Things are great.
So I think I met you quite a few years ago, a couple times.
Yes.
And then I met you again at a Chamber of Commerce meeting for the Chamber of Pinetop Lakeside.
Correct.
Where you were introducing an event, which was Mats and Money, down in the valley. But I want to talk a little bit about you, and then we're going to work our way back to where you're at here at Stonewall Strategies. So,
okay.
Paul Berry, who the heck are you?
I don't know. I think I'm a kind of an interesting fellow, but other than that, I've been around a long time. I'm 77 years old. I was born and raised in Tucson, Arizona. Went to school there, high school, U of A. And been in Arizona all my life, and I'm also fourth generation Arizonan.
Wow.
Yes, that's
pretty rare.
very, very rare. So anyways, I went to high school in Tucson, started out at Sal Point, and they didn't have a swim team, and I'd hurt my knee my freshman year in football.
Right.
But I wanted to letter in some sport, and I was a pretty good swimmer. Never swam competitively, but I was a pretty good swimmer. So I transferred over to Catalina High School, also in Tucson, and got on the swim team and finally got my letter and stuff that year. We went to state. The whole team went to state that year, and I did pretty well. I went to the U of A. I did not graduate, but I started out in geology, geophysics. And then I was actually going with my first wife when when we were in school together. She was in one high school and I was in another. Met her in 4-H. So we got married the year after I graduated high school. And with things the way they were and happening and everything else, and my dad wasn't about to support me anymore. So I got married and then realized that I gotta make an income somehow. And because I was a swimmer and I had my lifeguard certification, I went to work for a place called South Branch YMCA in Tucson. And they found out that I had, swam competitively and stuff, and so they asked me to coach their swim team, which I did, and it was a lot of fun, and spent a little over a year lifeguarding and coaching and stuff the kids at the South Branch Y. You want me to tell the story about the little girl?
Yeah.
Because I told you this before, and you never know what you're going to say that impacts somebody when you're a coach. You're saying a lot of things. You're telling them a lot of things. You're passing on a lot of stuff, but you don't really know what's going to land with them and stuff. So, anyways, I had the kids and stuff. We had a meeting. First meeting for the swim team, and these two sisters showed up. The one was a little older than the other one, and I don't remember the older sister's name, but Wendy, she showed up in her swimsuit ready to go, but she was on crutches. And her legs weren't much bigger than I don't even think they were as big as baseball, a baseball bat.
Right.
How big around that is.
Yeah.
And but she was on crutches, and so I never said a word to her. And I think I had taught her how to, I don't know if I taught her how to swim, but I helped her where she could do better in the water.
Right.
So anyway, she showed up with her sister and on her crutches, and they're both ready to go on the swim team. So I had enough girls in her age group that I could actually put together 2 relay teams. Because the only stroke that I could figure out that she could actually do competitively was backstroke, and so I figured I could utilize her by putting her on a team. Backstroke is the first stroke swam on a medley relay. And she did a good job of it. We started out, and the beginning of the season and stuff, when she was done with her lap, or with her position, which was the first one, I'd have to help her out of the water and stuff.
Yeah, the water, right.
By the end of the season, she was able to haul herself out of the water, and we set her crutches and stuff right next to the pool, because she had to be fully out of the pool before
the next person got there.
The next person was ready to go. So we had that all worked out and stuff. Well, anyways, a few years later, I mean, this girl improved the whole time, strength-wise, improved the whole season and stuff. About 3 years later, her mom showed up at my office, and she said, "Do you remember me?" And I said, "No." She said, "Well, you cost my family a lot of money." And trying to figure out how I could have died. I didn't sell them any insurance, I knew. And she showed up, she said, "Do you remember my 2 girls?" And she told me, Wendy, yeah, I was their coach on the swim team and stuff. And she said, yeah. She said, well, anyways, you kept telling Wendy that swimming was the best exercise she could do to gain more strength and stuff. I said, yeah, I tell all the kids that, I mean, swimming is probably the best exercise anybody can do. And so she said, well, Wendy bugged us and bugged us and bugged us until we put a pool in. That's why I cost them a lot of money. So anyways, she had the 2 girls with her. I didn't see her and stuff. She went outside. She said, "You want to see the girls?" I said, "Sure." Her and her sister both walked into my office. Mm-hmm. No crutches, no braces on her legs. She had improved her strength and stuff, both her lower body strength and upper body strength, well enough that she could now walk. Yeah. From swimming. And I mean, I almost cried, and I was amazed, but you never know, in a coaching position, you never know what it is that you're going to say that's going to impact somebody. And I really had no idea that anything I ever said could ever impact anybody, impact their life. Right. But this did. So anyways, that was my first experience with coaching and everything. So I got married, and we started having kids. So became required that I needed a full-time job. So I dropped out of college, and I wasn't doing that well in college anyway, because I got through high school by going into my room, opening a book and putting it on my chest, falling asleep. And I got through school I didn't get straight one. And when I was going to school, the highest grade was a 1. Right. Now it's a 4. So anyways, I went through school. I probably had about a 1.3, 1.4 grade average. And but I never studied or anything. I didn't know how to study. Never learned. Got to college, and that was a real eye-opener. So having to support myself and everything else, I decided, well, I don't really need college. So I got out into the business world. While I was in college, and for a little while after that, I worked for Transamerica Title. So I actually became a chief title officer with Transamerica Title. It was the youngest one they ever had. And so they sent me from Tucson up to Casa Grande to be chief title officer in that county office up there in Casa Grande. That's Pinell County. And I did that for a few years and then decided I wanted to be in business for myself because my dad was. And my dad was in construction. So first thing I ever did was get into landscaping. And did that for a few years and then just kind of continued on into construction, the landscape construction, not just going out and doing lawns and stuff and keeping other people's landscape and stuff. I started actually putting the landscape and stuff in.
Put it in
also. And worked for Transamerica Title and decided I still wanted to be on my own. So again, I started the landscape business, quit Transamerica Title, and pretty much stayed not in landscaping, but stayed in construction because my dad was in it. He was a home builder, custom home builder in Tucson.
Right.
And I stayed in construction, but home building, it was okay. But I liked running machines, and I worked for this one. He was a landscape contractor at the time. And I went to work for him. My father-in-law worked for him. And they had a backhoe in their yard, and they wanted me to do some stuff. So the guy showed me all of the levers and everything else, and here's how it works. And I got on it, and that was fun. I wasn't having to dig a ditch with a shovel. I could dig it with a machine, and that became a real fun thing for me. So I just kept going in construction, not working too much for other outfits, probably doing it mostly for myself. Bought a backhoe myself, and started doing that full time. And eventually I became a general engineering contractor, which is heavy equipment, mostly heavy equipment. Well, it's not mostly heavy equipment because we can do power plants and roads and large multi-story buildings and stuff. I mean, general engineering covers everything. Right. It's the highest responsibility license that the state of Arizona issues. Right. And so I did that for a very long time. Got an opportunity to move to the White Mountains back in '82. The White Mountain Apache tribe was looking for somebody to run their construction company.
Ah, okay.
And I came up to ski, and I bought a newspaper while I was up here, and I bought it. Anyways, I bought a newspaper while I was up here and saw the article where they were looking for somebody to run their construction company. So I had to have the resume in by Tuesday. So I went home that Sunday, put a resume together, drove it up here later on that Monday, and handed in my resume. And he said, or the guy that took it from me, said that they were going to go through the resumes tomorrow. Right. So I decided, what the heck, I'd just stay up here. I mean, it's still ski season and stuff. I'd just stay up here and see what happens. And they called me up Tuesday evening and asked me to come in and interview with them.
Okay, we've been listening along as Paul Berry from Stone Wealth Advisors has been talking about his history and his background, and I'm going to pause us here, and the next episode will continue the rest of the story. So thanks for listening to Birdman on the Mountain from Birdman Media. We'll see you soon.